Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. FSG stance leaves Arne Slot in no doubt, as Liverpool boos send clear remind. Another news is Steven Gerrard makes Arne Slot prediction after unacceptable Liverpool draw with Burnley. Now details. With an unbeaten run extended to 12 games and £116 million, summer signing Florian Wirtz dazzling, it should at first glance have been an afternoon of celebration at Anfield. But that jeers and not cheers greeted Liverpool's players at the conclusion spoke volumes. Indeed, it has become increasingly difficult to make complete sense of what has been happening with the Reds ever since the Premier League trophy was lifted last May. No surprise, then, the disgruntlement of those who had paid their hard-earned only for Liverpool to waste all their good work by gifting Burnley a way back into the game to return home with an unlikely point. Nor the dismay of Arne Slot at the final whistle, or the speed at which Virgil van Dijk later greeted the waiting media and his subsequent forthright, blunt comments on the situation. After the horrors of autumn with 9 defeats in 12 games in all competitions, the subsequent run without loss has steadied an extremely uneasy ship that, after dreadful home reverses against Nottingham Forest and PSV Eindhoven in the same week, was in danger of capsizing completely. But a run of 4 successive Premier League draws, 3 of them very avoidable, has highlighted the desire for Liverpool to take the next step from ensuring they don't lose to giving themselves the best chance of victory. Saturday was a step in the right direction in that regard, as difficult as it may be to accept, particularly for Slot's detractors, not least certain supporters and observers who have already decided Liverpool need to create more history by sacking a title-winning boss for the first time. Up against their kryptonite of a low block, the Reds were far more vibrant against Burnley during the first half, with obvious signs their work on the training ground during the week was paying dividends. There was more zip and purpose and clear signs of a plan. The total of 11 shots on target was their most in a home Premier League game this season, but that it was only the third time in 11 such matches that Liverpool have managed more than 4 points to where matters have been going awry. 8 of those games came against opponents whose priority was not losing rather than winning. Much has been made of this being the first time in 45 years Liverpool have failed to beat any of the promoted teams at home in the league, but more recent history points to more relevant difficulties for the Reds. When they won the title under Jurgen Klopp in 2020, the following season they were beaten at home to Burnley in January to spark a run of 6 consecutive home defeats. Pandemic football, yes, but still a dire run. Liverpool needed a header from Alisson Becker on the penultimate weekend to realistically keep alive hopes of Champions League qualification. The following season they came within a whisker of completing an unprecedented quadruple. That sequence of events underlines the value of momentum, and it's why Liverpool cannot afford to fritter away the uneasy platform they have built. The major positive of recent weeks has been the form of the available summer signings. Wirtz now has 4 goals in his last 6 games, with questions over his suitability in English football having been banished for good, and is undoubtedly a player around whom the team will be built in the near future. Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez have grown into their respective full-back positions, while leading scorer Hugo Ekitike again, impressed with the control and run that forced the opening for Wirtz's strike. Slot will feel secure in his job for the foreseeable. Klopp's early notification to Fenway Sports Group of his desire to leave at the end of the 2023-24 season gave the Liverpool hierarchy months to first determine and then recruit his successor, a rare luxury in the modern game. They aren't going to give up on Slot at the first sign of difficulty, especially midway through a season. Concentration, then, should now be focused on securing the bare minimum of Champions League qualification. Liverpool's next 5 Premier League games appear significantly trickier than their recent encounters, with trips to Bournemouth, Sunderland and Nottingham Forest sandwiching home games against Newcastle United and Manchester City. In truth, the boos at full time on Saturday were due to cumulative events, and not just the game in isolation. After all, there have been significantly worse performances and results for supporters to fume about. But those jeers were an audible demonstration of the fact Liverpool must now kick on again if they are to hold off the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea and Newcastle United in the hunt for that final top 4 berth. Another news is Steven Gerrard makes Arne Slot prediction after unacceptable Liverpool draw with Burnley. He may have been at the City ground and not Anfield, but Steven Gerrard's disappointment at seeing Liverpool throw away further points was clear. The 1-1 draw with Burnley means the Reds have become the first defending Premier League champions not to beat any of the 3 promoted clubs at home in a single season. It followed the 0-0 and 1-1 draws with Leeds United and Sunderland respectively, and while the result stretched Liverpool's unbeaten run in all competitions to 12 matches, 10 of which have come in the league, there was little cause for celebration, and in fact, the frustration among supporters was clearly audible on the full-time whistle. Legendary Reds midfielder Gerrard wasn't there to hear the boos, but speaking as a pundit on TNT Sports live coverage of leaders Arsenal's 0-0 draw at Nottingham Forest, he made it clear that the result was not acceptable. And while the 45-year-old admitted a lot of criticism will be coming the way of Arne Slot, he still says the head coach deserves credit for stopping the rot after a run of 9 defeats in 12 games saw his side crash out of the Carabao Cup and effectively end hopes of defending their title. Instead, the height of the Reds' Premier League ambitions now seem to be achieving a top 4 finish. Sitting fourth, they are currently 1 point above Manchester United, 2 above Chelsea, and 3 above Brentford and Sunderland. Gerrard said that won't be acceptable, a draw with Burnley at home, with all due respect. If you're being critical of the Liverpool team, even though they're on a better run in terms of unbeaten games, the draws to the likes of Leeds and Burnley at home, that's not acceptable. There will be a lot of criticism that comes the manager's way again, but give the manager credit. The last time we spoke about this, you asked me if the team was in a crisis, and I said I didn't think it was in a crisis because I felt like this manager was capable of making things better and steadying the ship. He has moved the team from the middle of the table and up back into the Champions League positions. I think that will be a priority for him and the team, minimum top 4 this season, but that won't take anything away from the criticism that will come his way. Slot, who led the Reds to the title in his first season in charge, addressed the full-time boos after a match Burnley earned a share of the spoils from thanks to Marcus Edwards' 65th minute strike, which cancelled out an excellent first-half opener from Florian Wirtz. The point did little to aid the second-from-bottom Claret's survival prospects, however. Their winless run in the Premier League now stands at 13 games, and they remain 8 points adrift of safety after fourth-from-bottom Forest shut out Arsenal. Slot said, "In my head, it wasn't a boo, but in my head, it was frustration as well. We are Liverpool and we play Burnley, who we have to give credit to how they defended, cleared balls off the line. All the things you want to see if you are a Burnley manager. Players try to do everything that prevents us from scoring. But if we, as Liverpool, are not disappointed by having a draw against Burnley at home, then something is completely wrong. I completely understand the frustration. I am the same, and the players definitely have the same frustrations as the fans have." Liverpool face a crucial Champions League clash at Marseille on Wednesday, before returning to Premier League action on Saturday away to Bournemouth.